So on the 29th of August, so last Saturday, about 10,000 people descended on London to protest against the COVID-19. According to the media, most of them were calling this virus a hoax. Piers Corbyn was actually the organiser of this, and for his trouble he was fined £5,000. Yet there was even thousands more in London yesterday for an anti-racism protest, and no one got fined for organising that.
Man, if I'd known now, that I would have done him a GoFundMe page.
Well, it's come out in the media today. Literally, the story broke earlier today. Now, there's a lot of ramifications to this. David Icke took and gave a presentation. This is, when I looked at it, I can see where a lot of people are coming from, but I could also see the rift, and this is where I've kind of like had to sort of take a step back with regards to some of these sort of more conspiratorial ways of thinking lately, because it's like there's some questions that are not getting addressed. Now, I know of at least 3 people now that are either either parts of my family or parts of my circle of friends that have either died or lost people to COVID-19, right? And my argument with this is, it's the same with the anti-vaccination argument, right? If you can explain with the anti-vaccination, if you can explain to me why curing smallpox using vaccines is a bad thing, right? Then maybe I will listen. I can understand there's things I've heard about it that give me a lot of reservations. Yes, absolutely. There's the way that Big Pharma behaves with them, and the hands that these medicines are in gives me the heebie-jeebies. Absolutely. The fact that Bill Gates wants to put a chip in one of them, absolutely no way, shape or form is anything technological going in my body, and it is as simple as that. But my issue is when you got people that have lost brothers, sisters, husbands, wives to COVID-19, and they're seeing 10,000 people, all of which calling it a hoax. Now, not all of them was calling a hoax. A lot of them were calling out the way the government has dealt with this, the Coronavirus Act, the lockdowns, the advice that's been given on masks, the do not resuscitate orders, which is absolutely abysmal. The COVID-19 on the death certificates, where the fact it's even become a meme. You know, it's the fact that this. I can understand people going to protest, because it's the only way you're going to express yourself. But what is troubling me is, and you said this on a video which is going out after this one, like we were watching David Icke give his speech, and you had someone saying, kill them, kill all of them. And you're not going to solve anyone in that mentality. It's great to see people waking up and actually feeling that they can go and voice their opinion, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's, you know, whether it's this, that, or the rest of it, whatever it is. I believe in the fundamental right to protest, because we have nothing else. We have nothing else, and
well, you can't. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
It's one of them, isn't it? It's the waters are so muddied that, you know, like, what is the cost of all of this? What is the cost going to be to good people that have, you know, if this is a hoax, how many doctors have been duped? How many families are going to want to know what happened to their loved ones? How many, you know, and how is it actually?
They're not going to be able to find out.
Exactly. You know,
because their bodies have been incinerated.
So, you know, this is the thing. Like, I can understand. It's like the death certificate thing, right? I can understand if it was a case of they do it because they can't carry out autopsies, right? And it's the fact that if someone's going to carry out an autopsy, then they stand the risk of getting infected. But say that.
Well, as you know, from my opinion, I am being drawn to the fact that this is all nonsense, right? And I can't, at the moment, I can't see past it. And I know you personally, Jar, have had people who have had COVID on death certificates, but I can't. I'm in that mindset where it's all manipulation. I looked at the stats today. They come out in the RCT report on Twitter, and it was 9 cases, Cardiff, 8 Caerphilly, 2 RCT. It was Powys, there was Merthyr, there was all these different places, and it was like, I think the maximum was 9,
Yeah.
and that is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the flu. And the flu takes out a lot of people. So does SARS. So does the coronavirus. Now, if we just add them 3 totals together, I'm pretty sure it's bang on average for
What do you
any
mean by
year, any given.
coronavirus? Do you mean like what, as in
Just the
COVID-19, or
coronavirus.
just because?
No, not COVID-19. Just the coronavirus.
Well, like the
So you've
common
got
cold
SARS.
then.
Yeah, just basically, right? Just basically the flu. So if you had the flu, you had, coronavirus because it's been out for a long time, and SARS, you add them 3 together, chuck in pneumonia, and your death toll is going to be pretty high per year, annually, regularly. And it's the masks, it's the distancing, it's what they want next, it's what they're going to do in schools. And it just seems like, on the premise of the disinformation, on the fact of the test that picks up COVID-19, it does all, to me, and I'm sorry, it does seem like nonsense, and it does seem like it's big money wanting more control, and big money, real big money, controls government. So, and that's the opinion I'm of, and I've tried, and I can't look past it. But
Well,
yeah, it does mean something quite dangerous for us if it's true. If we prove that COVID-19 was a hoax and was set up by the World Health Organization, or it was a cull, or for whatever reason it can be done for or control, then it's gonna leave us in a pretty weird place.
yeah, it
It's
is.
it genuinely is gonna bring up some questions. And yeah, his speech, it is what it is. Like, it's like you said, you got a tape measure. COVID-19 got a tape measure, got a watch, got a calendar. There's so much more to it. I mean, there's nurses. I mean, I've shared stuff where they're having COVID-19 good helper certificates, and they're standing up and saying, I don't know why, because I didn't do anything. And there are more and more people starting to say that this is the case.
And I think
And
we
it's
are,
just,
we are going to see. I believe there's heavy manipulation between this, beyond this, and I don't necessarily believe the virus is a hoax. I believe there's something that people are catching, but at the end of the day, I can only go on the experience that I'm having myself and what I'm looking at, and but I do believe that the way in which this has been handled is very much so a power play. It's very much so a play for control. We do have to start addressing these concerns unilaterally. I see a report today. Police stormed and raided a 10-year-old's birthday party and fined the parents. Can you imagine how traumatic that would have been for those kids? Because they weren't social distancing. Someone reported them. The issue is, this is the issue, right? And this is the issue that I think needs to be addressed, is it's not the converted you need to worry about. It's not those who have gone through this process you need to worry about. It's not, it's not those of us who are doing our own research and coming to our own conclusions that we need to worry about, irregardless if those conclusions differ, agree or disagree. There's some stuff that I agree with you on, there's other stuff I don't. I think that's what makes us a good team, because we focus on what we have in common and what we can do to contribute towards it, and that's the way we should all be. But it's the people that are not seeing the world the way it is, the people who are still sort of have all that to come, that we've gone through. And that does sound really presumptuous. It does sound, really like as if I'm insulting people's intelligence. But if this stuff is right, and I say that if this stuff is right, because I always work on the premise of, okay, it sounds like it's the most plausible, but there's always that one chance that it could actually be true, right? Then it's going to be a hell of a rude awakening experience for those people who have absolutely no frame of reference for this sort of stuff that we're going through. We've dealt with this
but that
personally.
Doesn't mean, like you said, them people addressing it in London. I know you've lost, you've been told that you've lost people to COVID-19, but if there's enough people believe that there's something wrong, and you have doctors, nurses, people in government coming forward, it has to be addressed.
Yeah,
it has to
absolutely.
Be,
I'm not opposed to those protests, but there needs to be a deeper understanding of the problem. It's like I said to you before, a lot of people who follow David Icke, for example, now I've followed David Icke for years. A lot of his research went a long way to me initially understanding a lot of the paranormal experiences I had. And I took what I agreed with, and I left the rest. But a lot of people that do follow this kind of information follow it because they're doing the same thing for David Icke as those people who are doing it with the mainstream media. So there needs to be a general empowerment strand to this as well, which is why I was encouraged by the people speaking out, and I'm not opposed to it at all. I'm actually encouraged by it because it's not making sense. It's not. It's not. There's so many things now that are going on that are, and some stuff I can't talk about on camera, but there's things that have gone on I've heard about that have absolutely boiled my blood, because there are people in positions of authority that are doing things, and they're doing it on a local level, they're doing it on a personal level, they're doing things such as like these DNRs, that, like, what right is that? What right has someone got to place someone as do not resuscitate because they're old, sick or infirm? They have absolutely no right to do that. And even just that is something that needs highlighting. The fact that VIP paedophilia is being, if you take QAnon out of it, right? You take QAnon out of this, right? And you look at the stuff that's just been carried by the mainstream media about it. You look at what happened around the Savile inquiry. You look around what happened in, all this sort of thing. You need to address that. You need to address that systemic problem, because it's come about because of systemic problems in our society. What we don't need is a witch hunt, which is what's kind of coming around there. Is like, well, this person's a celebrity, so they're a paedophile. Well, this person works for the BBC, so they're a paedophile. That doesn't help anyone. And that mentality doesn't help anyone. There needs to be some form of sense making. There needs to be something, a step in the ladder between the sort of awakening experience and the full-on conspiratorial experience, because there needs to be some way of people being guided around it. And I think that step is the spiritual element. It's that understanding of ourselves. It is the actual spiritual side of this whole awakening and understanding of who we are. And I think that's where people like you and me actually fit quite well, because of our experiences with the paranormal and what we can show and demonstrate with the paranormal. So,
well, the problem is, right, you're gonna have that you're tarred with the same brush,
yeah,
right? Because if you have, say, a bent police officer, and is in, a criminal police officer, and the rest of the police officers are not going to grass on that police officer, that makes them all corrupt. And unfortunately, that is a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but it kind of is the case in most occasions. So yeah, if it causes, the way I look at it, if it saves one child, right? If it saves one child, somebody has to be branded with something to save one child, and they're innocent, they should quite easily be able to get out of that. Because if somebody from QAnon or YouTube said something like they've been saying about me, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be hiding away. I'd be on camera, I'd be actually going for the person. I'd be going there to make them, I'd be like, based on what? I would be like, show me this Ev that you think I am something like that. And I would be screaming it. I would be screaming. I would be mental. Somebody tarred me with that brush. So if it saves, if it makes it away and something is done about it, then unfortunately, it's a necessary burden to bear. Because even when, and I hear lots of people saying this, so I can't look at that, I can't have that on my Facebook, I don't want to look at it. That's not helping the person who's the victim.
Exactly.
Right? That isn't helping the victim. And if somebody, that goes back to like this COVID, if somebody was put on a ventilator or they were treated poorly, because I was told, and I have a witness, that a doctor told me that they'd been advised not to treat asthma.
Yeah.
Right? I would want somebody to question it for me.
Yeah.
I would want somebody to come forward and say, "Oh no, this don't make sense. I want answers." So there's things we have to go through to make change and to save lives, right? There's people that's going to suffer, unfortunately, but they're never going to suffer as much as the victims of these types of things.
Hi guys, it's Jared from Paranormal Now. I hope you like the channel and hope you like the content. If you do, check out some of the other videos on screen now and click the button below to subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves.